Welcome to Rapid Review. So today we're talking about Chapter 19 of The Mandalorian, titled The Convert. So I have to say, this is easily my favorite episode of the season so far. The episode opens up right where we left off in Episode 2, with Din Djarin, Bo-Katan, and Grogu by the Living Waters. Din has finally found his redemption, and as we find out later, so is Bo-Katan. What's interesting here is that Bo-Katan neglects to tell Din Djarin about the Mythosaur sighting. Why? Does she have some ulterior motive, nefarious or otherwise? It makes for some interesting speculation moving forward. There was also a small detail here that I really like. As I've mentioned before, I like that Grogu continues to get more agency. From what we got in Boba Fett to what we've got in the first couple episodes, I really like what they're doing with the character. He's feeling more like a real character and not just a tool to bring out emotions. In this scene, he's on the floor looking over Din Djarin, and he feels like a real part of the scene. So I really like it. It's a subtle thing, but again, it just feels like he's more part of the scene rather than just an object. So after that scene, we follow the trio as they're on their way to Corvus. And then there's a great little scene, again, where Grogu seemingly tries to say, "This is the way." It was adorable, and it makes sense that he would try to say it, since that's probably a phrase he hears all the time, and he's probably used to somebody saying "this is the way," and then somebody else repeating it. So it kind of made sense to me, and it was really an adorable scene, and again, they continue to find ways to out-adorable previous scenes with Grogu. And then they're intercepted by some TIE interceptors, and we get another great space and kind of atmospheric dogfight. This season's doing a great job with these kinds of scenes. The N1 looks awesome in battle, and I just love this battle. I think that, again, this season's been great with all the different dogfights and the battles in space and in atmosphere, and this one works really well. They barely escape after Bo-Katan's castle is blown up, and then the show changes. So the meat of the almost 50-minute runtime is focused on Dr. Perishing, who is on Coruscant. It starts with him giving a speech at what looks like the theater from Revenge of the Sith, I think it is, and we find out that he's part of an amnesty program set up by the New Republic. We follow him as he works at his new job and then encounters other ex-Imperials in the same program, including Elia Kane, whom we know from Season 2. They build a friendship, and then it comes out that Perishing wants to continue his research, albeit for altruistic means. She encourages it and helps him steal equipment from a decommissioned Star Destroyer. So I like what they did with their relationship, as it's difficult to tell Kane's true intentions. It felt like she was still likely an Imperial or held Imperial beliefs and was slowly nudging Perishing the way that she wanted. But instead, the show completely subverts expectations, as it was all a setup by the Republic. She was working with them the whole time. So the episode ends with Dr. Perishing strapped to what he called a mind flare, and it ends with Kane seemingly increasing the pain that Perishing was going through. It's really intriguing because I'm not quite sure what to think of her. What side is she really on? At first, we think she's probably still on the Empire side or whatever the remnants are, but then we see that, oh no, she's on the side of the New Republic. But now we're not quite sure. So I really like this mystery, and I'm intrigued to see where it goes. The show ends with Din, Bo, and Grogu landing on the new Mandalorian Enclave, and we get a nice little scene with the group not only accepting Din Djarin, but also Bo-Katan. It was a nice scene to end the show and actually felt a bit more meaningful and emotional than I would have expected. So this episode does quite a few things right, as we get a lot of great action. Well, not a lot of great action, but we get some great action. We get a lot of world building, especially with the stuff on Coruscant. There's a lot of little details here throughout this episode that just show us the larger world and this new republic that's being built. We get some really good character work, especially with Dr. Perishing, but also I like the little we got with Din, Bo, and Grogu. And we get some real mystery and intrigue, as I'm really interested to see what the situation is with Elia Kane. And I also want to know why Bo-Katan didn't mention the Mythosaur and why she so readily accepted being part of this new group. There's also quite a bit of fan service. We get a few great fan servicey moments, including the theater on Coruscant that I mentioned that seems like it's from Revenge of the Sith. We also get a Mon Calamari who says the thing. He says it was a trap. And I'm sure it got a lot of Star Wars fans excited and pointing at the screen at that. We also get a remix of the March of the Resistance from The Force Awakens, which was a nice little remix, and again, a little ode to The Force Awakens, which I liked. It was in that scene where Perishing and Kane are eating the weird glowy ice cream thingy. So this was the first episode of The Mandalorian that tells a story that's not focused on Din Djarin and or Grogu. And I was okay with it for the reasons that I stated earlier. I think it's a strong episode. I think it does a really good job of setting things up for the rest of the season. So while I was a little bit so on the first couple of episodes, I think this show was a solid episode in itself and sets up a lot of intrigue, and I'm really excited to see where things go moving forward. I give this episode an 8.75. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel. We can be found on all social media platforms at portable_whole. And if you want audio-only podcasts, we're on all major platforms at Portable Whole Publishing. And email us at portablewholepub@gmail.com.